But here's what I took away from Joe Biden's speech. Number one, he has no choice but to try to take this language back because he runs a political party that has come squarely down on the side of blame the police first. You've had Democrat mayors and prosecutors all over this country who have made horrific choices when it comes to their rhetoric and their policies on criminal justice and dealing with the cops. So he has no choice. This isn't some...
No, he could double down on that. I agree with you that that's been their history.
And so
he's deciding not to.
He has no choice. Number two, I'm heartened to hear him finally come out and take a strong stance against people who might threaten political violence because the government's going to do something that they don't like. I only wish his passion wasn't so newfound because he had very little to say when people were out promising riots and violence if the Supreme Court does this, that, or the other. So I'm glad he's finally come around to this.
That's not true.
Did they overturn?
That's not.
Did they try to overturn?
No, it's not. I mean, this is somebody. Sorry, you know.
He was real slow, John.
No,
real slow.
I'm sorry. He consistently, both in the wake of Roe and in the summer of 2016, said there's no place for violence in peaceful protest. So
he said, fund the police, not defund
that's
the
right.
police.
And
he's been pretty clear.
That's right. So look, I think the larger issue here is what he's condemning isn't just this background noise and the fact there is an opportunity, as he said, to take back defense of law enforcement. But when Lindsey Graham says infamously, you know, if you prosecute the law fairly without favor, there could be riots. You know, you've made the will. You know, there will be riots. That's a threat. You've made the point that you're worried that the DOJ might not prosecute Donald Trump. But other folks in the Republican Party, senators, people who definitionally should know better, are saying they're afraid they will enforce the law without fear or favor when it comes to the ex-president. That's a fundamental contradiction with the idea of law and order.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Lindsey Graham's choice of words and rhetoric there was poor. Now, it is true he then walked it back and said, I'm not endorsing violence, which he should have done, but he should have never gone down that road in the first place because, you know, look, we're on probation over this. I mean, January 6th was a riot, and it was Republicans. And so we can't be flippant with our rhetoric, but I fundamentally disagree with you that the Democratic Party has been as fast and as upstanding as you're making them out to be when it comes to condemning violence from people who hold their ideology.
But why wouldn't
you know, people should be called out if they say things that are inappropriate, right? You threaten somebody's physical being, if you're, you know, and listen, it goes on and on both sides of the aisle, and I condemn it, right? I think that, you know, people following people, you know, Senator Sinema into the restroom and haranguing her, it just goes too far in politics. You should be called out. You should be chastised, and there's no place in with that kind of rhetoric in American politics for a civil debate. You'll never get to solutions if you have these ad hominem attacks and which could spur violence. So I think they should be condemned on both sides of the aisle. We shouldn't have it clearly. And the Biden administration coming out and saying so before the election, it's great. But I like to see him do it, you know, all year long and call out both sides, not just you know, people on the right. And politicians say what they think they need to do to get elected. Joe Biden just stood in Pennsylvania this past week and said, "We are for funding the police. We are not for defunding the police.
He
we
was
stand
never
for
defunding.
the police."
He was never for defunding the police.
Poppy, I understand. I understand that, but I'm saying the Democratic Party, for a long period of time, it was a main plank of most Democrats that came on this show and many others would say, defund the police. They call for defund it. Joe Biden didn't step forward then and say, I want to stop that. That's the wrong thing to do. I don't recall Joe Biden.
He literally did.
In front of that train.
He literally did.
We got to go factually.
Show me the tape.
We have to go. But you know what I like? That you guys can you can disagree without being disagreeable.